Hello and thanks for checking in with Crossroads here on Big Centre TV. We're here with Crossroads Check-In every week at this time to take a look back at last week's episodes and then forward to what's coming up next week with a few little features along the way. Well, coming up in today's show, Glenn Allen will be checking in direct from our bureau in Kings Oak to let you know about the happenings that you may have missed over the course of last week. And Jane Rossington is back with us too to share more of her Crossroads memories. And of course, during next week, it's the aftermath of Sandy's accident, and we'll be seeing how he's coming to terms with such a massive change in his life. Now, as ever, there are a number of gaps in the narrative because, as we've said before, not all of the episodes still exist, although things can change in that area. But it's a chance for you to let us know what those missing storylines might be, if you could remember. You can also let us know how much you're enjoying Crossroads again, so why not give us a shout? You know where we are. On Facebook and Twitter, just do a search for Big Centre TV. And if you want to email us direct, then it's nice and simple, crossroads@bigcentre.tv. Oh, and if you'd actually like to write us a letter, then the address is Crossroads Check-In, Big Centre TV, 14A, Lower Hall Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. Right, let's take a look at some of the messages we've received, and we've had some great comments about our new Crossroads trailer featuring the inimitable Amy Turtle. On Facebook, Thwaitie got in touch and he said, "Gotta say, I absolutely love your new Crossroads trailer with Amy Turtle and Tom Jones singing She's a Lady. Classic." Well, if you haven't seen it yet, have a look at this.
But she's all you'd ever want. She's the kind I'd like to flaunt and take to dinner.
He's a gentleman. He knows how to treat me.
But she always knows her place. She's got style, she's got grace. She's a
It's nothing but a lot of offal.
She's a lady.
Oh, yes, Brian, a real lady.
Oh, she's a lady.
There aren't many of us left.
Talking about that little lady.
No, you're right there, Edie. There ain't many of us left. I forgot me mop.
Brilliant stuff, and all the work of our very own Tim Disney. Now, Tim is the voice behind the ads show, and he's also the person who keeps us on track here with all of the different programs which we run. In fact, I'm hoping to bring him into the studio one of the weeks to talk about technical stuff regarding Crossroads episodes and how so many are missing and how some have been found. Now, next, Paul Westwood is a big fan of Crossroads, and he's been in touch to ask why the colour clips we use here on Crossroads Check-In look filmised while the actual episodes look okay. Well, Paul, this is a very boring answer, but it's all to do with the technical settings on our computer software on recorded programs like this one. However, as most of the actual episodes of Crossroads are being transmitted from a digital file copy of the original master tape, then there's usually no additional editing required, and so they look as they should do. Now, Paul also asks about something that happened many years ago. On the subject of the episodes being shown in the wrong order, what about the story back in the old days, mentioned on the web in several places, about one episode being shown twice in 2 days and no one apparently noticing? Love to know what ATV's reasoning was with keeping certain episodes. As I mentioned on the previous occasion, interesting that several episodes following Sandy's accident were kept, but not the actual episode itself. The set of episodes coming up feature a lot of Coventry footage. Was that a likely reason? Plenty to get into there, but I think you could be onto something there, Paul, because until fairly recently, the earliest episodes known to exist were a week's worth of episodes leading up to a wedding. And then, as you say, there's another set featuring the aftermath of Sandy's accident. There was obviously some method in that madness. Some of the episodes that were kept were probably by mistake, as we've said before. Unless they were going to be repeated somewhere, then there was usually no need to keep them. Now, I'm going to look into that and see what we can find out for you. Oh, and if anyone else has watching has a theory or even knows the truth, then I'll tell you how you can get in touch again very shortly. Now, Pete Reed is an eagle-eyed viewer, and he sent a message last week to say, "In your episode preview, how can you say that Meg's sister was struggling without an assistant in 1972 when the character died in 1969 with the actress who played her? I expect you meant her sister-in-law." Yes, I expect that's exactly what I meant. The wonders of scripting, eh? Now for something a little special. Over the years, Meg's sitting room became as iconic as the reception area, and right there on the wall between the shelves was a beautiful floral portrait. Well, Stephen Cove has been in touch with us to say, although I no longer live in the Midlands, it's wonderful to see Crossroads again on my computer. I did some TV and radio for the fan club when the original show finished. I was the only person who could do the voice of Meg, Noel. I was lucky over the years to meet many of the cast, including Noel Gordon and Jane Rossington. Nolly would be so thrilled to see the original show is back. Wonderful memories. But what about the portrait, I hear you cry? Well, Stephen goes on to say, Attached is a photo of me with my painting that hangs in Meg's sitting room. It's a print of Meg's original that was from a newspaper promotion in the late 1970s. There must be a few still out there. This one was used by the Crossroads fan club and in the feature on BBC Daytime Live when they featured the fan club and asked me to play Meg to celebrate what would have been Crossroads' 25th. There was a cake and cast members mixed with the fans. And there you can see Steve's portrait. Now you'll notice that there's an inscription in the corner. Let's have a look at what it says. It's marked from the Crossroads Motel and the message reads, "Dear friend, this is the beautiful floral painting which hangs in Meg's sitting room. I hope it brings you as much pleasure as it has brought me. Sincerely, Noel Gordon." How about that, eh? You don't come across things like that very often, do you? Tell you what, Steve, I bet you treasure that portrait, don't you? Thank you so much for letting us show your pictures and tell your story. And if you have a Crossroads story to tell, maybe some photos of something to do with Crossroads, or if you just want to tell us what you think of the show and the characters, or the set that doesn't wobble, not like mine anyway, please do keep them coming in, and the contact details are back on the screen now. And of course you can use the hashtag BCTV Crossroads anywhere on social media, and that'll help us to find your messages straight away. Okay, still to come in today's show, we've got our regular look back at some of the happenings in your favourite daily serial, and we'll be taking a quick look ahead to some of the things we can expect to see during next week too. And of course, Jane Rossington will join me once again in the lounge with more of her memories of those early days. Well, now it's time to look back across the week at what's been happening in and around our favourite motel on the Midland Road. So let's check in with our bureau down in Kings Oak for a wry look with our reporter Glenn Allen.
Hello and welcome to Kings Oak Central, bringing you all of the information that's going around Kings Oak and the surrounding areas, although to be fair we are mainly concentrating on Crossroads Motel. Now of course this week it's been an appalling week, appalling, with Sandy's accident. David of course was trying to cheer Meg up and take her mind off the subject, but she was having none of it.
Thought you might be interested in what's happening at the motel.
I just told you. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters anymore, David.
A happier subject now as we turn our attention to one Amy Turtle. Yes, it's time for Turtle Watch. So what has she been up to? Well, the love-hate relationship between her and Mrs. Loomis has ruffled her feathers once again as Amy stormed out of the motel to work at Lake House. But she's not particularly happy there.
I want you to come back.
To the motel?
Yes, we need you there.
Well, I'm blowed. Who's put you up to this?
Nobody's put me up to anything. I've tried to replace you and that's all there is to it. And I know Mrs. Richardson's upset with you having gone.
I think about her a lot.
Oh. So will you come back?
Well, I'd like to come back, but I can't leave him in the lurch here.
You won't be.
Why is Rosemary on to coming back?
I don't know about that, but I do know they've got someone lined up to take your place if you will come back.
Vince Parker has been auditioning for a new role as a kids presenter.
Could put a chimney on that. Couple of windows, door, you've got a house.
No, Vince, no. This is how you do it. A house with a door. Windows 1, 2, 3, 4. Ready to play? What's the day? It's Sunday. That's how you do it. Nice one, Vince. Now, she is back. The man-eater Cynthia Cunningham is back at the motel. Police have issued a warning to all men in the area to stay out of her way.
Everything looks much the same.
Yes,
I like it, though. Too many changes going on in the world at the moment.
I'll agree with you there.
So London's being literally pulled to pieces.
And I suppose the old's got to make way for the new, especially when there's a housing shortage.
Well, if it were really to help people, one wouldn't mind, but is it?
In lots of cases, yes.
And in lots of cases, just to make a quick profit.
A vodka orange, madam.
Thank you. There's one thing I can't stand, it's people who only think of money.
35 pence, please.
Oh, yes.
Well, I must admit I think of nothing else. The way things are increasing in price, seems they get more expensive every day, no matter what they say. Oh, is there something wrong?
Not that you'd notice. Do you know, I changed handbags before I left, and I haven't got a penny with me.
Oh, that's all right.
Well, I do feel a fool.
Well, it's on the house, Mrs. Cunningham. Just to prove that we don't think only of money.
Now, just because you've had a little drinky poo at work doesn't mean you can't do your job. No, it does not. Vince Parker can do it too. Yes, he can.
Here, this is yours, I believe.
Watch what you're doing, can't you?
It doesn't matter.
Of course it matters.
Here, give yourself a wipe down with that. And,
See, Vince is fine. Well, that's all for now.
Just hand us in at reception.
We'll be back next time with more information and news about what's going on in the area, so join us then. I will find her, and she will pay.
Thanks, Glenn, and we'll be looking forward to what's coming up next week in part 2. Right, we're just going to take a short break now, but don't go anywhere because in part 2 we'll be taking a good look ahead to what's coming up on Crossroads during next week, and Jane Rossington checks in for another chat. So we'll see you after the break. Welcome back and thanks for checking in with Crossroads here on Big Centre TV. Still to come, we're going to have a look ahead to some of the episodes we're going to be showing during the coming week. But time now for another look back to the early years, and we're joined in the lounge by Crossroads' longest running resident, Jane Rossington.
We used to have Tuesday morning off because that's when they used to put the set up. Now this set, it wasn't permanent, it wasn't left there. It came and it went. And we had lots of other shows in over the weekend when we were rehearsing at the rehearsal rooms. And we started off in rehearsal rooms in Birmingham. And do you know, about, 2 or 3 months ago, I had to go for some reason to Elstree. It's now owned by the BBC.
Where they do EastEnders?
Where they do EastEnders, yes, exactly. And I had done at Elstree, I used to do Emergency Ward 10.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and there, how we learnt our lines, there was not enough room. There was a great big room, but people working in that. Yeah. And to a certain extent, this carried on when we went to Crossroads, but we used to sit on the stairs outside, and you'd grab someone and say, let's go scene, let's do this scene. So you watch it, no, that's wrong, and so on. And I went and walked into Elstree and I saw this staircase. It was still there, and I thought, I remember that. That's the staircase where we learnt the lines. And it was like that when we started in Birmingham, because the rehearsal rooms there, we didn't have big rehearsal rooms to start with. We had one floor of an office block. And again, there was a staircase outside. So you couldn't have everyone trying to learn lines within the room where people were trying to do a scene and whatever. We had something like, well, in later years, we used to do 40 scenes or something, but in those days it was probably about 10 scenes to an maybe a bit more. So you needed to have somewhere where you could go and do it properly. But we hadn't got another room, so it had to, again, be on the stairs.
God, so when you come to the studio then, it's done as live, as you say?
Yeah, very much. Well, we'd start off with scene 1 of the first half, and the idea was to get through to the commercial break. And as I say, certainly at the beginning, it was very, very wordy. And and do you know, we all talked we were very sort of far back in 1950s, and we'd all talk like this, very, very, very fast. You know, I saw this woman coming up the stairs, and I didn't know what to do. What do you think I would do? I mean, what? Oh, did you? Oh, and we were all. That's how scripts were. And if you see the old films, and you see all these people walking around and going, and they're all. And that's how we did. We were much faster talking. Where I think now, I don't know what's happened, but we're much slower. We breathe in, we think, and then we speak. Well,
it's more natural, isn't it, these days, I suppose?
Yeah.
Do you think it's more sort of theatre delivery?
Probably, yes. Because most actors were, were trained for the theatre.
And Jane will be with us again in a couple of weeks' time. Next week, more fascinating facts from John Drury. Now it's time to look ahead to what we can expect during the coming week's episodes of Crossroads right here on Big Centre TV. Now, as we know, Sandy's accident occurred recently, which has left him confined to a wheelchair and struggling to adapt to his new way of life. Oh, and remember, there are probably some potential spoilers ahead too. Now, Monday's episode is number 1868 from February 1973. Sandy breaks up a knife fight between two girls by charging them with his wheelchair. Vera and Diane have fallen out, and Jill is suffering from a fit of the miseries.
Don't mind me dropping in, do you?
Why, what you got, measles?
No, the miseries.
Oh, them. I've had them so often I'm immunised. Measles I haven't had.
Or absent husbands?
Not one to call me own, any road. You missing him, eh?
Yeah, I feel like a parcel in that silly game, pass the parcel. I keep landing on different people. I hate being on my own.
Yeah, you can have too much of a bad thing, including some people's company.
Dan, thought you two got on like a house on fire.
Oh, well, I just had to pour water on that particular fire.
On Tuesday, we've got episode 1884 from March 1973, and we're back into black and white briefly as Sheila returns home to a warmer reception from Wilf than she expected. Timothy and Kevin discuss Meg's eligibility for marriage and end up making a gentleman's bet to see who gets her first. Meanwhile, it's Jane's first day at the motel, and she mistakes David Hunter for a guest.
Hello?
Oh, can I help you?
Well, I was looking for Mrs. Cunningham, actually.
Oh, she's in the cellar.
Ah.
Guests aren't allowed in there.
Oh.
Not that I mind for myself, you understand. It's just that I'd hate to get you into trouble.
You're new here, aren't you?
Yes, how did you know?
I didn't recognize the face.
Oh, come to that. I haven't seen you around here before either.
I've been away, you see.
I tell you what, you give me your Shally number and I'll get her to call in a minute.
Now, that would be rather difficult.
Oh, no, it's no trouble.
Well, no,
Mr. Hunter, welcome home. How was Rome?
Fabulous, thank you.
Mr. Hunter, have you two met?
Yes, we have.
Are you Mr. Hunter?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, no. I thought you was one of the guests.
Now on Wednesday you can see episode 1886 from March 1973. Timothy and Kevin's bet to catch Meg continues, though she has thwarted them both by disappearing to the Hotel Droitwich for the week. Vera's having a bad time of it. She's become the victim of sinister phone calls, and Sid Gilbert is about to encourage her to confide in him.
My dear girl, what on earth's the matter?
Oh, my God, I'm in one hell of a mess. I've been threatened and I don't know what to do about it.
You certainly seem to be in a state about something.
Well, every time that phone rings, I just go cold.
Tell me exactly what's wrong. Perhaps I can help. You may find it hard to believe, but I've had a lot of time to think about my life lately.
Yeah?
So I'd be grateful if you'd tell me about this trouble of yours.
You thinking what I'm thinking? On Thursday, we go back into colour with episode 1890 from April 1973. Wilf is in a foul mood and Jill is concerned for him. Cliff seeks personal advice from Vera, and Rosemary Hunter arrives at the motel and immediately starts an argument with David.
It's nice to know you'll be working with friends, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. Oh, excuse me, customer. Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
I hope so.
Yes?
I'm Mrs. Hunter. I've come to collect my son.
Oh, Mrs. Hunter, we've been expecting you.
Hello, Rosemary.
Hello, David. I understand you booked me a chalet.
Well, I thought you might want to stay over a couple of nights.
Well, you thought wrong. You haven't changed, have you?
Shall we go through and talk about it?
On Friday, we have episode 1891 from April 1973. Jill suffers an electric shock from one of the pieces of salon equipment. Hugh Mortimer makes his move on Meg and books a nice quiet table for two at the Hotel Droitwich. Meanwhile, in the kitchen...
I thought you were at the Droitwich.
Doesn't matter where I am, really, does it?
Oh, well, if you say so. I'm just about to make some coffee. Do you want some?
Yes, please.
What happened?
Oh, it was all a mistake. I should never have gone.
Oh, well, the conference can't last forever. And when she comes home, you can take up again where you left off.
I'm looking for understanding and sympathy, not snide comment.
Oh, then you shall have understanding and sympathy. And a little piece of angel cake with your coffee besides. How's that?
And finally, on Saturday, we have episode 1892 from April 1973. Sandy convinces Chris Hunter to change his mind and go back to school. And Sheila has confessed to Wilf that she's having Roy's child, and he's appalled.
You got a face like a wet Sunday, and him.
It's my face.
Yeah, well, you're lucky. You're behind it. We have to sit here and look at it.
Stop bickering, both of you. Get on with your supper.
Oh, he can talk. He can actually talk. I'd almost given up hope.
Go on like that, you get a few words out of me you didn't bargain for.
Yeah, well, he'd be better than the long-suffering silence we've had the last half hour. Or is it a pregnant pause? You know, significant.
I don't know how you stand it, Jill. I don't really.
It's known as the art of conversation.
Oh, really? I've got another word for it. Verbal diarrhea.
Do you mind?
More tea, anybody?
Sure.
So there you go. That's all to come on Crossroads, right here on Big Centre TV, every night at 9. Well, we've run out of time on Crossroads check-in again, but I'll be back at the same time next week, so don't forget, if there's something about Crossroads you'd like to tell us about, maybe you can fill in some of the gaps in the storylines. Maybe you've got some fond memories of some of the episodes we're showing. Tell us who your favourite character is, or which bits of Crossroads you're looking forward to seeing again. Just get in touch. Look us up on social media. The details, as ever, Big Centre TV. Email crossroads@bigcentre.tv, or actually write to us if you want. The address is Crossroads Check-in, Big Centre TV, 14A, Lower Hull Lane, Walsall, WS1 1RL. Thanks for checking in with Crossroads, and I'll see you again next week. Crossroads Motel, can I help you?